If it is or if it ain't, it's going to come out. Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you are listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is August the 20th, 2022, and today the topic is wealth. Good morning, everyone, and happy Saturday. I hope that you all had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. Y'all, if you guys missed last night's chat all about abortion and the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and you all truly missed something special. But don't worry, friends, you guys can tune in to that chat. It is available on godsexandlove.com. Of course, on our YouTube and everything like that. It'll probably just be easier for you guys to go to godsexandlove.com. It should be our featured video for the next week. And yeah, shout out to each individual person that gave their time to come and not only share their opinions, but hopefully give people things to think about as well. All of my panel people that's on that flyer did not make it. But yeah, shout out to Miss Denise, shout out to Miss Summer, shout out to Mr. Rashan Kusar. I appreciate each and every one of you all for joining that conversation last night and sharing your testimony, sharing your transparency about your own lives, as well as adding to this conversation, and showing people that, hey, we can have these tough conversations and we can have differing opinions without making anyone feel a way about, where they are and how they believe and what they think and everything like that. So shout out to everybody that, again, was a part of the conversation. Shout out to each and every person that tuned in live. We had several people tuning in, several people commenting. So thank you to each and every one of you all that did that. If you guys are catching the replay, that's still fine. It should be on pretty much all of my social media platforms, with the exception probably of the YouTube. But it's on the God, Sex, and Love YouTube. It might not be on Actress Miracle Sims YouTube, but it is on God, Sex, and Love YouTube. But again, I mean, the quickest way for you to find it is just go to godsexandlove.com, and that should be the featured video. Powerful conversation. As for yesterday, man, I did tackle some of my tasks. I still got just a couple more things to do, but for the most part, I got a lot of things done and everything like that. Had a good old chat with one of my cousins as well. And yeah, that's pretty much what yesterday looked like to me. After talking to my cousin, I tried to kind of rest a little bit and get ready for the show that we had last night. And yeah, so shout out to my little man because he was being a good little guy. I made sure he was fed and whatnot, made sure he had some snacks and stuff. So by the time I wrapped up, I know he was all knocked out and everything like that. So everything worked out. And, again, I tell y'all all the time how much of a blessing this is and has been to me in my life. So speaking of blessings, right? I know this chat may be something that everybody may want a little bit or part of, when we hear about this word of wealth. I woke up to the sound of my alarm this morning and I did my prayer meditation, but I don't necessarily remember it. But again, at some point between me waking up and listening to the prayer meditation and everything like that, the word wealth stood out in my heart and mind. Okay, so basically, I've heard some different things going on. I heard about, kingdom resources. I hear about crypto and all of that, which I really don't know too much about. I know my husband dabbles a little bit, but, I'm just kind of like, well, I'm hearing these things. prophecies being made about certain, I guess you would say, coins. um, maybe this will help and bless somebody. So I'll go ahead and at least share the name of the coin that I'm hearing about, and y'all can look into this on your own. Those of you all that are familiar, but I'm hearing some great things in regards to this coin called Shiba Inu, and things like that. And you know, yeah, by all means, y'all can look into that yourself. I mean, there's plenty of YouTubers speaking about it and everything. I don't know too much about all of that, but I believe that, when I've heard certain things, I guess my spirit has been in agreement with certain things to even make certain moves to hopefully, benefit from some of these blessings and things that I'm hearing about and everything like that. So again, y'all be led by your own mind in that aspect. Seek God for yourself. Use your own discernment and everything when it comes to all of that. Um, but yeah, but let's just say, these prophecies come to pass, right? We all find ourselves with this newfound wealth, right? Um, or more resources, or whatever the case is, whether it's this coin or whether it's just God's blessings flowing. At the end of the day, I guess what was coming to me this morning is like, what are we going to do with the resources, right? What does the Lord want us to do with these resources? And everything like that. We see what the world does with wealth. They just want to build more wealth, Um, and again, just pointing out that, money isn't evil, right? But the love of money is. So, when you put that into perspective, it's just like when I talk about sex on here, y'all. At the end of the day, sex isn't the evil thing. It's the timing of when you do it. So those are the stipulations and whatnot, and that's what the Bible says in regards to money and everything like that. So let's take a look at what the words say in regards to wealth. Um, Y'all go ahead and just start diving into these verses because I have plenty to share on today. So the first one that stood out to me to share was Deuteronomy 8 and 18. It says, "You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may confirm his covenant that he swore to your fathers as it is this day." So again, putting things into perspective. I know we all try to reach for wealth and reach for money and all these different things on our own accord. And then we tend to forget that, hey, everything comes from the Lord. So, yeah, it says, "You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth." The next verse that I came across and felt led to share was 1 Timothy 6:17 through 19. "As for the rich in this present age, charge them not to be haughty, nor to set their hopes on the uncertainty of riches, but on God, who richly provides us with everything to enjoy. They are to do good, to be rich in good works, to be generous and ready to share, thus storing up treasure for themselves as a good foundation for the future, so that they may take hold of that which is truly life." Now, look, I don't know if that whole thing was Pope. I don't know if y'all got lost in the middle there because it was a rather lengthy verse, or set of verses. But at the end of the day, again, this stood out to me as very important. At the end of the day, we know that there are those that are rich, right? There are those that they already have earthly wealth. And, one of the things that stood out to me rereading those three verses is that it says, the rich in this present age, "As for the rich in this present age, charge them not to be haughty." I did look up the definition of haughty. I didn't write it down, but if you don't know it, then I implore you to look it up yourself. And basically, don't be that. Don't be haughty, Then it tells us not to set our hopes on the uncertainty of riches. Again, there's plenty of verses that talk about the uncertainty of riches. It talks about, how it's fleeting for those that, love money or just dwell on it all the time and all that type of stuff, or they get it quickly and things like that. There's verses that center around all of that. But then again, it goes back to tell us that, but on God who richly provides us with everything, just like that previous verse let us know that, at the end of the day, it is God that gives us the power to get wealth. It is Him that it comes from. And so, because of that, right, it's telling us here in that verse, or in those verses, it goes on to let the rich person know that they need to be doing good with their riches. They need to be, um, rich in good works, not just building more wealth on top of wealth, but, the good works and being generous, ready to share. And in doing so, they are storing up treasures for themselves, you know, as a good foundation, I would say in heavenly places, right? Again, I'm paraphrasing towards the end there, but I mean, you guys can marinate on those verses on your own and see what you all receive from that. But that's what I received this morning. And so, and again, there's plenty of verses that are centered around, how we should, what we should do with our wealth and everything like that. I noticed like I know me and my mom seem to be in a similar season where, we're getting something sporadically financially, right? And then whenever we get something, we start putting it towards, the visions, the goals, we're spreading it out, right? We're not holding it in the bank. We're not being like, okay, I'm not going to use these funds. Like me and her both are basically, you know, distributing it amongst kingdom work, right? And then obviously, of course, whatever earthly things that we need to take care of, like and whatnot. But um, a lot of it's going towards investments in, again, kingdom work and the things that He has, that God has put on our hearts and minds to do. Um, in this season and whatnot. And again, that can be like a difficult place to be in because you're like, well, Lord, these funds are sporadic, and every time I'm in a low point, I feel like I don't have. But then when I do have, I feel like it's gone quick and everything like that. And but again, like I told y'all, I have started to look at money a little bit differently, ever since the conversation that I had with my friend in the past. And she just reminded me that, hey, well, money is a tool, it comes and goes, and X, Y, and Z. And I guess the more I look at it that way and read the Bible and see what it has to say about, what we should do with money and whatnot, um, at the end of the day, I don't feel so how can I say it? Well, bad for lack of another way to say it. Like I don't feel bad about using the funds to keep up building the kingdom. For example, like using the funds to keep investing in what I call my international dream team, the people that are assisting to help me keep this thing going of GSL. Using the funds to invest in people that have invested in me. Like yes, I'm a small business owner. Yes, I'm an author. Yes, I'm, somebody that creates things and stuff. And I need people purchasing my things, and people have, right? And so, and if I know somebody else is a business owner or whatever the case is, if I have the means to support them and whatnot, then I try to do so. And it just keeps it going and flowing between the community and everything like that. And so, there's definitely room. Now, should you be wise, right? Should you take care of your household? Well, let's see what the word has to say about that. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children, but the sinner's wealth is laid up for the riches. So there you go. Like, I mean, yeah, we got to be wise as well. Like, let's do some things that's going to benefit not only our children, right, but our children's children. And then also understand that, hey, well, if you're not going to do the will of God, if you're going to be walking, using your funds and wealth and whatnot for sin, as this is saying, and maybe laying up riches for yourself, well, understand that that's for the righteous then, and everything like that. So, yeah, that's something to think about as well. So yeah, you should be taking care of your household. You should be, taking care of, again, your children and your children's children, right? And then, what you have from there, make sure you are, um, you know, sowing into the kingdom, right? Doing what I guess this is the Lord regarding your wealth and everything like that. I mean, there's a lot of verses in the Go Deeper section that kind of goes deeper about like what the people of God was doing with their wealth. I believe at some point like communities came together and they brought all their wealth and distributed amongst everyone and things like that. And I know we don't necessarily live like that these days. Well, at least here in America. I mean, maybe other, countries or cultures, maybe they do live in a more community-like setting like that. I know it seems like here in America we do. It's like us, our family, our house. Like we don't really necessarily think about a community coming together with our wealth. But how powerful would that be if we did that? Um, you know, how much more even would things be, and whatnot. That's just something to think about. I don't know if we need to get back to that, or I don't know how we can. I mean, obviously there would have to be a group of people that would agree to do that. But it sounds like a beautiful way to live. Because then again, if for example, if a community is pooling their funds together, and and it's like, okay, each household is, food. Each household has food. Each household have clothing. Each household, like, where is a need? We have this need in the community, X, Y, and Z. Who knows, man? We might need to get back to that. To be honest, that just came on my heart and mind. Right, that might be something we might need to look into because we just never know. I think I shared with you guys a few weeks ago. We never know how things will turn, and uh, people before us had to do similar things, and so that might be something. I mean, I think we are just so, again, we focus so much on ourselves as individuals that I don't even know, like, I don't personally know what that would look like. I got an idea of what that might look like, but I don't think I know anybody that actually have lived that way. Community of people, like, pooling their resources together. Like, if anybody else has seen that or lived that way, I would love to hear y'all's feedback on it and how that went for y'all and stuff. But yeah, that sounds like something to look into. So let's keep that into our hearts and minds. I got one more verse to share, and it might be Pope, right? It might be something we don't like, but I don't know. It's something to think about. It's Luke 16:11. It says, "If then you have not been faithful in the you excuse me, sorry. If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous wealth, who will trust to you the true riches?" Ooh. All right. Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, I think that there's a lot of things that God sees value in that we probably don't see value in. Again, I think when we think about this word wealth, we're automatically just thinking about money, right? We're automatically just thinking about financial gain or whatever the case is. I mean, again, your wealth can be in, your inheritances can be your children, right? Your community, like all of these things are valuable, right? But again, we so focused on money and ourself and different things like that that we may miss that. But then if we do focus on, for example, the um earthly wealth, and say you've been blessed, right? You've been blessed with earthly wealth and riches, but all you do with your wealth and riches is hold it for yourself, right? And all you do with it is um I mean, I guess you could, like they say, I guess where your treasure is, that's where your heart is. Um, you can truly see like what people invest their funds in and everything like that. Those that are wealthy, I know we was talking about abortion yesterday. Like, there's people that are wealthy that puts in millions of dollars towards abortion, right? But then, so you put millions of dollars towards getting rid of life, whatever the case is, but then you won't put millions of dollars into helping these women become financially free, maybe helping these women to become business owners and take care of their children versus, you know, abortion. These are just things to think about. Like, and like when you look at the quote unquote rich, the wealthy people of today, um, look and see what are they investing in? Are they sowing back into the communities that are, blessing them? Are they out here, not just say creating jobs and stuff, but like, you know, are they part of nonprofit organizations helping the community? Like, there's just so much that can be done and that should be done. Even again, when we talk about that conversation we had yesterday, and again, although Summer might have had a differing opinion than majority of us that was there, she was making great valid points when it came to like community and things like that. And so yeah, people do need to know that they're loved. People do need to know that, hey, we will stand with you as a community and whatnot. And, and those that are in the position, those that have the wealth and whatnot, I mean, perhaps we need to be looking at doing things a little bit more biblically, and then maybe we'll see more change in the world. But that's a whole nother thing, y'all. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. That's the juice this morning. But the Bible verse of today is Matthew 22:37. It says, Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment, and the second like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration and juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to talking to you all on Monday, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. Check out our friends at mailandmeet.com for beautifully handcrafted, Afrocentric greeting cards and so much more. That's mailandmeet.com.